So I recently learned about this new science AI model or models. I think there's a bunch of them out there. And I'm trying it out for the first time on their playground. And I didn't know what to do. So I said, I just gave it context of what I do and asking it how I could benefit from what it does. And so it indicated that I can go into market trend analysis. And this is connected to a bunch of publications and um, data, scientific data. And what the scope of that is, I'm not sure because this is new to me. And it can help with content creation. That's not too surprising. Um, but we could just try this blog post on CRISPR right there. It's really nice gave that information. Competitive analysis, competitor marketing strategies. That's always interesting to do. Huh. Customer segmentation, persona development might be very good for the scientific um, commercial companies and identifying right like who cares about what and the specificity. I would anticipate this does a much better job than ChatGPT without training, obviously, and even with training with ChatGPT, this might really this version coming from Alan AI might really shortcut it. Um, from the marketing perspective and translation and localization. Interesting. I would be very interested in testing this out and how does it translate like to a complex language that's very different than English, like Chinese, for instance. Um, Data visualization, awesome. So there's plenty of opportunities to play with this. And what I recommend people do is literally try out if something is relevant and an LLM is in your area of just spending 15 to 30 minutes a week learning, because this is the time we're in right now, right? It's all about learning. And a lot of this is nothing is written in stone. We don't know what we are doing. It's just the reality of it. So it's this time to it is a time to play and to experiment and see what works and what doesn't and be thinking critically, but also open mindedly, because there's so many more opportunities typically than we give ourselves room for. And by not giving us not being open to possibilities, we cut ourselves off from so much and so much opportunity to do a better job, to do things more effectively, to accomplish more that's satisfying to one's soul and being, even right in the larger scale of things. So, spending time of experimenting and learning is really important for everybody right now in business and personal lives, and then specific, of course, to one's area. So. Here we have a scientific LLM, and I am very curious to try all these things out. And I think I'm just going to start with um I think I like the blog. This will give me a good idea fairly quickly about like what's the quality on it, um on the actual writing. So I look at LLMs as being helpful in writing information and generating content for marketing if it's trained appropriately. And then I also see the benefit of it. The biggest benefit is actually market research and pulling together large amounts of unstructured data, e.g., humans talking online, experts talking online, and finding trends and insights and patterns in that at a scale that we humans could never do. But let's just go for the blog writing one right now, see what happens, put it in here. And um, I'm always like not very pleased when I see the word revolutionizing. It's overused and means the opposite. Miracle is a little markety, even, I would think, for a tool like this. Hmm. So this is a very, not surprisingly, it's a very high overview. Not that I fully understand CRISPR, I don't, but this is more of a generalist blog post for lay people rather than for people selling CRISPR tools, for instance. And so that if I want to say in for commercial biotech companies and gaps in product development. I'm just making this up. Um, wow, we always want scientific integrity, right, folks? My scientist people get very upset if anything is misleading or false. Yay for truth. I think we're all on board for truth. Gene editing, blah, blah. Gaps. And I don't know if it's remembering or talking about the agricultural component or if that's just bringing it in. This is again still fairly high level. Um, and R&D scientists um, to inform them of gaps in products and commercial opportunities. Let's see if this gets better. Unable to submit message. Why not? Oh, content I should read. I don't like to read. All right, let's try doing a new chat. See if we can do it here. Nope. Robust delivery systems, viral vectors with safety concerns. So if you went in here, I think with specific information that you're looking for that's relevant to your business and your specific area, it would I would love to hear what you find on this. And let's look at this little tracing. I love it when it shows its work. I don't know if you use Manus very often, but it's also a high quality LLM. It's very powerful and it's able to do deep research, and it tends to be more accurate and hallucinates less, and it's very academic in its tone of voice. So you don't have to worry about marketing, sales, language. So, okay. I kind of like SciSpace better so far for me as a marketing person in the sciences. Germline editing. Ah, it's all scary. Let's go look at a document. Well, I clicked this right here and I got document not found. That's not a good indicator right there. That, in fact, bothers me tremendously. I would expect this to actually go, since it purports to wanting to be accurate and truth bound and be more for a scientific audience, I would think that that would go to a real destination link without having to struggle. Sometimes I find if I put in the title of things in the pre-training document, like if it had the title for whatever this document was, I can find it and it's at a different URL for some reason, or it slightly changes it for some reason. But again, we're faced with a reliability problem. It's not a small one. Like I do think at this point with ChatGPT 5.0, using that on a regular basis. I use that, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Manus, and Julius. Julius is like the most robust for data. And it does a really good job too of interpretive things. So you can, like using Julius.ai, you can have information in the columns and you can ask it to create a new column and a new field and have it populate it from what it finds online. So I can say like if I'm doing a lead list, I've got an amazing data set and it brings back people that are interested in particular topics. And so I can have it create a column that's a description about the company and populate that. And then to take and create a new column and ask it to identify how this company matches what my client needs and analyze that and put that in the cell. And then to prioritize, create another column of by prioritizing. It's definitely not there's plenty of room for errors always with data, But relatively speaking, Julius does a much better job than any of the others. And then Manus and then ChatGPT is really weak on accuracy for data. But for writing, ChatGPT and analyzing large amounts of data, it seems to be doing a better job. And my guess is, even though it makes mistakes, I suspect it's fewer than what humans do, because we unfortunately make lots of mistakes all the time and we don't even know it, which is interesting. Anyway, so far my assessment of this tool is meh, because if I can't trust it, what's the point? And that's where we are. Hope this was helpful, and I'm going to work on making these shorter. But this is how I work with them, and I think it's really important to show the conversation dialogue that you can have with LLMs, and in fact, really need to, right? That it's constantly refining things, and you talk with it. And if it provides you bad answers, you have to figure out a different way of getting better answers, and how do you phrase things, and how does that, it is really a relationship, as strange as that may sound. So have a great day.